Netflix is about to drop the new Peaky Blinders movie, and if you need a quick refresher on who Tommy Shelby is, well, this is the video for you. So sit back, relax, grab your hat, maybe some whiskey, and let's get into it. Now, before we continue, just know there are going to be some spoilers here, okay? So, you've been warned. Across 6 seasons of Peaky Blinders, Tommy goes from a traumatized war veteran running a street gang to a politician manipulating governments. But his biggest enemy was never the police, never the mafia, never rival gangs. It was the war still raging inside his head. When we first meet Tommy Shelby in Peaky Blinders, he's already the mastermind behind the Shelby family operation in Birmingham. But his real story starts in World War I, where he served as a clay kicker, a tunneler who dug beneath enemy lines to plant explosives. That experience left him with severe trauma, insomnia, recurring nightmares, and emotional detachment. Tommy is brilliant, but he's also deeply broken. Season 1 shows how he begins expanding the Peaky Blinders beyond illegal betting. When a crate of stolen government guns ends up in his possession, Tommy sees the opportunity to build something much bigger. This brings him into conflict with Inspector Campbell, and eventually introduce the woman who briefly changes his life, Grace.
I learned long ago to hate my enemies, but I've never loved one before.
Grace represents something Tommy hasn't had since the war, peace. But when he learns she's betrayed him, Tommy doubles down on the one thing he trusts most, control. The expansion in season 2 is when Tommy stops being a local gangster and starts building an empire. He pushes the Peaky Blinders into London, challenging powerful criminal organizations and forming dangerous alliances. One of the most memorable relationships begins here with Alfie Solomons, a ruthless but oddly charismatic Jewish gang leader. Tommy's biggest strength becomes clear in this season. He wins with strategy, not violence. He manipulates gangs, police, and even the British government. And by the end of the season, Tommy is nearly executed, only to be spared because the government realizes something important. Tommy Shelby is more useful alive than dead. Season 3 starts with what looks like Tommy finally finding happiness. He marries Grace and begins stepping into legitimate businesses and high society. But the world Tommy lives in doesn't allow peace. He gets pulled into a dangerous conspiracy involving Russian aristocrats, political plots, and secret government operations. Then tragedy strikes. Grace is assassinated. This moment fundamentally changes Tommy Shelby. After this, Tommy becomes colder, more paranoid, and far more ruthless. Rightfully so. The man who once dreamed of escape now fully embraces power, which leads us to season 4. War with the Mafia. Season 4 introduces one of the most dangerous enemies the Shelbys ever faced, the Italian Mafia. The vendetta against the Shelby family becomes deeply personal. Members of the Shelby family are hunted, and for the first time in the series, Tommy looks genuinely vulnerable. But what makes Tommy Shelby terrifying is his ability to adapt. He turns the war around using the same strategy that always defined him: patience, intelligence, and brutal precision. By the end of this season, Tommy defeats the Mafia and takes another massive step forward. He becomes a member of Parliament. The gangster from the small heath is now part of the British political system. Man, what a rise to power. The psychological collapse of season 5 shifts the battlefield from gangs to politics. Tommy encounters rising fascist leader Oswald Mosley, and this becomes one of the most dangerous challenges of his life. Tommy attempts to orchestrate Mosley's assassination to stop the spread of fascism, but the plan fails. For the first time in the series, Tommy loses, and the psychological pressure finally starts breaking him. He experiences hallucinations, paranoia, suicidal thoughts. The trauma from the war never left him, and now it's catching up, which leads us to the breaking point. By season 6, Tommy Shelby is a man carrying enormous weight. He's dealing with grief, political threats, and a fractured family. The loss of Polly Gray, who had always been the emotional backbone of the Shelby family, leaves Tommy without one of the few people who could challenge him. Then comes the ultimate blow. Tommy is told he has a terminal brain illness and only months to live. Believing his time is over, he prepares to end his life. But in the final twist, Tommy discovers that diagnosis was a lie, a manipulation meant to control him. And instead of giving up, Tommy does something unexpected. He chooses to live. Now, where does the story go next? Now the story continues in The Immortal Man, which takes place during World War II. Tommy Shelby is dragged back from self-imposed exile, pulled away from a life of isolation as global conflict once again reshapes the world. The question isn't whether Tommy can survive. He survived gangs, politicians, and assassinations. The real question is whether a man like Tommy Shelby can ever escape the war inside him. If you're excited for the Peaky Blinders movie, drop a comment and tell me, who was the best character in the series besides Tommy? And if you want more breakdowns like this, make sure you subscribe because we'll be covering the movie as soon as it drops. By the order of the Peaky Blinders, you guys have yourself a great day. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. YouTube thinks you're going to like this one, so click on it and don't prove them wrong. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button. I'm on a mission here.